Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're just going to do a quick video, 5, 6, 7 minutes, just talk about some of the breaking news that has come out the past few days. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're growing this channel, trying to push for 100. I just made a video talking about Liam Parra who fought last night, so if you haven't watched that video already, watch this one, head over there, watch that one, give it a like, tell us what you think in the comments. Alright, let's get into it. The big news that I came out, I believe, yesterday. Conor Benn is eligible to challenge the winner of Pacquiao vs. Barrios. Now, I spoke about this before, talking about Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2. Talks of a fight in September, October time. Obviously, there's also talk about Chris Eubank's use of sauna, and he's got to face the British Board of Boxing Control. But I think this is important. This is the fight I'd make. If I was Conor Benn's agent, if I was Conor Benn, this is the fight. I loved that first Benn Eubank fight. Everything came around. Everything was perfect. I don't think we need to see it again. Conor Benn is champion level. He is world title level, no doubt in my mind. He takes this fight, he's got a very, very, very good chance. I believe it'll be Barrios. I think most people believe it'll be Barrios. Conor Benn versus Barrios. Benn, take that title shot. Become a world champion. I know he wants that vengeance. He wants that win against Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr. is only going to be bigger in the next fight. Conor Benn really can't get any bigger. He fought really, really well in the first one. It's a massive payday. I get that. So if he wants the money, Eubank every day. Can he beat Chris Eubank? Yeah, he can. He can. I believe after what I saw in that first one, he can. He can stop Eubank. I don't think Benn can win a decision. I think he can, early on, stop Eubank. That's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes. I think if he's got a guaranteed shot at this title, which I think will be Barrios, I think take that. Become a world champion, buddy. You're good enough to do that. Alright, what other news we got coming out? Deontay Wilder spoke to Ring Magazine. This is what he had to say. I don't have anything left to prove. I have state-funded statue back home. I'm a walking, living legend, but being the unified heavyweight champion is one of my goals. I am here once again, ready to go, baby. He's made his goals clear. Big goals, definitely big goals. 39 years old, haven't really fought well for 5 years, 6 years. What are we talking here? It's been a long time since I've seen Deontay Wilder really, really impress. Obviously, I know he got that winner against Robert Helenius. We know he's got that. But then he followed that up with two really bad performances against Joseph Parker and Zhilei Zhang. So take what you will from those performances. Alright, something that I don't typically talk about on this channel, and that's Jake Paul. Obviously, he's got that fight this weekend against Julio Cesar Chavez. Zerto Ramirez came out and said that he'll be more than happy to fight Jake Paul, but he's got to earn that fight. I don't think that's justified. I still don't believe Jake Paul has earned that. This here is what kind of ticks me off a little bit. Jake Paul is expected to be ranked by the WBC and WBA if he defeats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on Saturday night, starting a potential run for a world title shot over the next 2 years. I would really love to hear what you guys think about this. Some people have very strong opinions either way on this, on Jake Paul. Look, I'm sort of in two camps here. First, he's got to beat Chavez Jr., and we have to see what Chavez Jr. turns up. But secondly, I don't hate it too much. I hate on a lot of what Jake Paul does, but if he gets ranked in the WBC and WBA, we're starting to get into that category of he can no longer, I mean, we'll see what happens, but realistically, those governing bodies should be taking control of who he fights and how he fights them. If he's going to be put in top 15 of WBC and WBA and isn't fighting people that are also top 15, top 10 on a title push, then there's questions to be asked. Obviously, there's always questions to be asked in and around how they do this. I do believe lots of it is run by money. Obviously, the biggest example is Manny Pacquiao's return. Obviously, that is a big cash influx, putting him on a card, and they bumped him up to number 5, threw him in a title fight. He might win, he might lose, but it's not really the point. There's lots of people that are dedicating the past 2-3 years full time to boxing, fighting the best of the best to push for a world title. They shouldn't be handing them out to people that aren't doing that. So if Jake Paul gets put in there, I expect to see him fighting the best of the best and fighting them properly. Beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. now and being ranked, I think is very unfair. I mean, what are they ranking? You beat an inactive. You're just beating inactive fighters or MMA fighters. What are we ranking here? I don't understand how they come to that conclusion. But hey, all right. Last thing I want to talk about is there's been more and more and more stuff come out between Canelo and Crawford. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Obviously, there's been more and more heat added to this. They started off having friendly dinners. Now there is a bit of back and forth. Canelo starting most of it, but Crawford also giving it back a little bit too. I thought it was very funny when this is the clip that's been going around. Canelo says, "Oh, what elite fighters have you fought?" to Crawford. This is on the Goats podcast. Canelo asking him, "What elite fighters have you fought?" And Crawford fires straight back with Victor Postal. Canelo goes, "Who?" I thought that was very funny. Look, I understand the argument of Crawford hasn't really fought anyone compared to Canelo, and that could be a big deciding factor in the fight. There is some fights that I believe Crawford has fought good opponents. I probably wouldn't have said Victor Postal. I would have probably said Sean Porter, Errol Spence. But I get the sentiment. I don't think you can compare Canelo's resume to Crawford's. I know Crawford gets the big, like, I don't want to downplay how good Crawford is because I think he's excellent, very very elite fighter. But Canelo has definitely over his years run with the best of the best, and Terence Crawford, I don't think has had the same level of opponents in the ring with him, if I'm being honest. If we compare even early Canelo versus Floyd to even the losses Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus Jaime Munguia, Canelo versus Belanga, even at the time of the fights, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders was on the come up. I know lots and in and outs, right? But you got to think about the fights when they're being made, and the same thing with Terence Crawford. All right, I think that is just about all the news. This weekend we've got a few boxing matches coming up. Deontay Wilder returns. Christian Mbili is fighting in Canada. And then that big card, Jake Paul versus Cesar Chavez Jr. What am I thinking about those fights this weekend? I would expect Deontay Wilder to win. I would expect Julio Cesar Chavez, if he's actually trained for this, to win. I think Tevin Farmer will upset Floyd Schofield this weekend. Christian Mbili will go back to work, get another win, I believe. On that Christian Mbili card, the fight before it's going to be good as well. Makhmudov is fighting. So, yeah, lots and lots of boxing happening this week. And lots of exciting fights, different fighters. And it's just a great time for boxing, isn't it? This month, next month, I can't wait for Ring 3. That is going to be very, very exciting to start July off. And then we see Usyk versus Dubois. We got the Tim Tszyu Manny Pacquiao card. Bam Rodriguez versus Cafu. I mean, big names in the sport, all coming together, all colliding. Very exciting times. Oh, you know what? One last thing that I do want to touch on. Where is that quote? Because I thought this was very interesting. Turki Al-Sheikh. I will be very upset if Belanga and Zepeda knock out Shiraz and Shakur. We have big plans for Shiraz and Shakur, and this result would be a complete disaster. Yeah, I'm still... Look, it's weird, isn't it? Because I still don't think of Turki Al-Sheikh as a Eddie Hearn or a Frank Warren promoter where they've got their own stable of fighters and, he's rooting for... Like, he's putting on the fight, but he's rooting for these people. Like Eddie Hearn would with his fighters if they were coming up against a Queensberry fighter, and Frank Warren if he was coming up against a Matchroom fighter or a boxer fighter or whoever it might be. And I find it weird with these fights when we see Turki Al-Sheikh, who sort of... he's much more than just a boxing promoter, and I think that's where it lies. To be rooting for certain individuals, Shakur and Shiraz, he doesn't want them to lose because he's got big plans for them coming up. And I get the sentiment, but at the same time, stuff like that being said can sometimes put the wrong thoughts in people's minds. And what I mean by that is just favoritism, judging decisions, everything, I think it's something that's better left unsaid. Yeah, you have your favorite fighter, but probably don't come out and say it would be devastating if my fighter lost when you're running the thing and you're hiring everyone and you're putting the show on. I think, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Just keep it to yourself. All right, guys, subscribe. We're nearly at 50 subscribers. I want to push for 100. I want to push for 200, 300. Keep building this channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'm out of here. See yous.